back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Going to talk a little bit about sales training, formal sales training, which I love. I love the idea of treating sales. You know, it's so often, and really for decades, it's been treated like a soft skill. You either got it or you don't. And the reality is that there's elements to it that are teachable. And I'm excited about the fact that it's become a growing discipline in universities around the country. And we're doing a series of interviews with various faculty from these universities that are offering formal sales program, starting off with ones that actually emphasize the importance of an internship, which includes our first guest, Bill Ryan, and he's an instructor in residence at the University of Connecticut School of Business. And Bill, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Hi, Kevin. Thanks. I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Tell us about your background and how you found yourself working with the folks there at the School of Business, and particularly your unique sales training program.
Sure. Thanks. I have a long career in business, working for large Fortune 100 companies like Pepsi and Gillette, working in the marketing and sales arena, and got into teaching about 15 years ago part-time, and then about 5 years ago, UConn asked me to come on full-time and run the professional sales leadership program.
Excellent. And what would you say makes it unique? All of a sudden, you know, this has gone from something, this type of training that you've seen virtually none of a couple of decades ago, and now they're popping up everywhere. Tell us about your program in particular and what makes it unique from others.
Sure. Well, I think everyone knows UConn as the college basketball capital of the world. We're actually a top, public university as well, with an emphasis on research and teaching. We've been offering this program for 15 years, since 2001. And, we've just seen an increasing demand from our corporate partners for this type of education. I think that many companies today have realized that, just like the rest of their workforce, it's aging, and they need to build bench strength for a very important part of their company, which is the professional sales force. I think everyone in business knows that, everything starts with the sale, and without great salespeople, your company's not going to be successful long term. So it's, the demand is there, and I think that's why you're seeing such an increase in this discipline being taught around the country.
So how many students do you have in your program at any time?
Yeah, we have about 150 students every year. And it's interesting because not everyone is going into professional sales. Many of them are, but we also welcome any student who realizes that selling is really an important part of business today. There's a book we use that's been on the bestseller list by Daniel Pink called "To Sell is Human," and his premise was that most of us, whether there's sales in our title or not, are selling every day, and defined as persuading and influencing people. And, that's very true, and I think a lot of people buy into that concept. Whether you're in the business world or a student, people realize that's important. So it helps everyone, whether you're going into sales or whether you're going into marketing or finance or accounting.
Yeah, no question about it. And my understanding is that we chose yours among many programs that we found because of the fact that you had an internship program. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, great question. A focus of our program is experiential learning. So while even in the classroom we're doing things like role plays, we're working very closely with corporate partners who really come in and help the students in these role plays where they play the role of a buyer. They provide them feedback. I mean, these are folks who are in the sales profession, so they have great perspective on what a great salesperson is supposed to do in that selling environment. But we also really push the students to go out and complete at least one internship, if not two, in professional sales. And it really helps them to, one, get an understanding of what the real world is like, if you will, but also helps them understand whether they like the industry that they're thinking about or whether they want to try something else. But it's a great experience to get outside the classroom for the summer or during the semester or even during a break.
Okay, and do some of them work virtually, like work with companies virtually, or do they always work in person? How does it just depend?
Most of them are definitely working, at the site of the employer. Some of the positions are what's called an inside sales position, so they may be doing more online, by phone type selling work, so they may not be in front of the customer, but many are also in front of the customer as well.
Mm-hmm. And how long is your typical internship? Can that vary?
It can vary, but typically we're looking at, during the summer, 10 to 12 weeks. So really giving them that opportunity to learn and get some experience and really understand the job itself and also the culture of these companies. And it's just a great experience for them. They come back, many of them, as you can imagine, with a different perspective. And it really, for many of them, gets them excited about sales. So when they come back for their senior year, they kind of double down on the learning and really get excited about finding that great career position upon graduation.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what percentage of those 100-and-something plus students you have every year are intending on a career in sales, would you say?
Yeah,
and of course, that can always change because they are, after all, college students. but what percentage would you say?
Well, it's great because I would say about two-thirds every year are going into professional sales, and then the placement rate of those students is very high. It's almost 100%. I mean, there's actually more positions out there in professional sales than there are students, I would suggest.
And what was the name of that book again that you mentioned that is a big part of your curriculum? The Sell is Human?
Yes, The Sell is Human by Daniel Pink.
Yeah, very cool. I'll check that out myself because I agree with that. I agree with that concept. If you're married, you sold. If you have a job, you sold. We're all selling. And so the more we embrace that, the better we can be at it.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, sir, I appreciate so much your time. Enjoyed learning more about you. William Wyan is how you find him at the UConn website. You can simply go to business.uconn.edu or just go to uconn.edu and put William Wyan into the search engine. And Bill, thanks so much for being with us.
Great. Thank you very much, Kevin. Have a good day.
You too. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdealerreview.com, and you're listening to The Pulse of Business.